Okay, either that's a dick or someone drew Aylmer from Brain Damage on that wall, which is not only a pretty cool Easter egg, but also thematically relevant. Anyway, Jeffrey strikes a deal to hold auditions for Elizabeth's new body, but that still leaves the question of how he plans to kill a hooker in the first place and how he plans to get away with it.
This super crack will get the job done a lot quicker and without any pain.
Without any pain, huh? Yeah, about as painless as a Dr. Pretorius colonoscopy. Sorry, Doc. There ain't enough lube in the world to prevent that future, Goatsay.
It's okay. I still love you.
Uh-oh, a pre-9/11 New York skyline. Better recall this Blu-ray or people might get infected with emotions. Thanks, Osama. No time for outrage, though, as Jeffrey meets up with Zorro's bitches, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna use a whole lot of tissues before this scene's end.
Want to take my temperature, Doc? I bet you got a big thermometer.
They see me rolling, they hate it.
Funny story, Frankenhooker was a Screen Actors Guild film, and as such, Frank wanted to hire SAG actresses as all the prostitutes, but he had trouble finding any willing to do nudity. So Frank did the next best thing and casted all of the prostitutes right out of strip clubs. I shit you not. On a more serious note, though, actor James Lorinz deserves a gold star for ad-libbing the shit out of this montage. He never breaks character, and his quips are consistently hilarious. Praise aside, though, Jeffrey soon realizes there isn't a single body he needs, but rather multiple parts from several bodies, and this causes a admittedly forced moral crisis.
You're all very nice. You've been very nice, but I can't do it. I can't go through with this.
Which ultimately doesn't last very long, as the girls end up accidentally offing themselves by discovering the super crack, which I'm pretty sure was done just to make Jeffrey less perceived as a murderer and ultimately more likable, but he still kinda is a murderer, guys. I hate to break it to you.
It's awfully hot in here.
Holy fuck, I got like the most patriotic boner right now. Jeffrey trunks the dead hookers, Soska sister style, and takes them back to Jersey, where he immediately gets his Colin Clive jive on. Okay, movie, you might have been able to get away with hidden jump cuts like that back in the VHS days, but it's the YouTube era, baby. We want it big, we want it loud, and we want it like this. Unfortunately, you cannot see beyond this here censor bar, but suffice it to say, the hills have tits. Also, notice how Elizabeth's head is completely dry when removed from Prince's Purple Rain. This is because the footage is a reversal of a previous shot in which Jeffrey submerged her after the quote-unquote romantic date. And surprisingly, this wasn't even a goof or a mistake. It was actually a very deliberate creative choice. You see, Elizabeth represents Jeffrey's one bastion of purity and innocence, which is why he completely loses it when she's gone. Without her, there's really nothing to anchor him in reality, and as such, he goes right off the deep end. So by having her emerge spotless, Henenlotter is visually emphasizing how Jeffrey romanticizes her, an infallible goddess of pureness without which he cannot continue, at least in his mind anyway. It's a rather poetic detail, and it's the exact kind of detail that separates Henenlotter from your everyday schlocketeer. In fact, he's actually way more than just an everyday schlocketeer. He's really more of an artist. Or, maybe he just shot the rest of the scene first and needed her dry for continuity. I don't know. I'm just a guy who sticks his dick in blenders. But enough reminiscing, because Jeffrey's about to resurrect Elizabeth's body using what I like to call Thomas Edison's miniature of doom.
Want a date? Going out? Looking for some action?
Alright, I cannot possibly continue this review without first talking about the genius marketing gimmick they used in order to get Frankenhooker's VHS tapes to stand out from the rest. Imagine for a moment you're a young gorehound in the 1990s. You're scouring the shelves of your local video shop, and lo and behold, you come across this CD tape. Oh my, what is this? Talking box? The fuck does that mean? And that's when you notice the words "press here" wrapped around an alluring street lamp. Should you? Well, I mean, of course you should. Why not? It is asking for it after all.
Want a date?
I cannot possibly tell you how much my little world opened up when I stumbled across that tape. It was like seeing porn for the first time. I knew I shouldn't be looking at it, but that just made it all the more exciting. Anyway, following the awesome resurrection, turns out Frankenhooker's brain is a complete scrambled mess, caught somewhere in between Elizabeth's personality and the hookers she's composed of. So she attacks Jeffrey in the confusion and takes to the streets where,
We've only got a few minutes left before we hit the streets. Have you found your perfect woman yet?
Oh, yes! God, yes!
Okay, I honestly can't tell if that dude's looking to get laid or if he's about to sell her some Miracle Whip. I guess in a way, I was right on both accounts, because in the end, it is she who miracles his whip, if you catch my sandwich. See, that's the problem with professional escorts. They always overcharge you. Meanwhile, Jeffrey awakens to discover that Elizabeth's completely flown the coop, but it doesn't take too long to figure out where she went.
No, they didn't leave. They didn't go nowhere. They just blew up. Fucking exploded. 1 minute they're my bitches, the next piece is all over.
Is that the take you want to go with? 'Cause, I don't think that's the take you want to go with. Tragic thing about Hispanic Chris Tucker here is he has no idea he's in for the shock of his life. Oh man, it's like we're watching Highlander 2, The Hookening. Sweet Cthulhu, the fuck is that? It's like The Grudge crossed into the Uncanny Valley. Ugh, kill it with fire. Anyway, Jeffrey whisks his beloved back home and reboots her brain back to normal, which is all fine and dandy, but one thing about this scene has always annoyed me. If he could already do that, as in conduct that much electricity, then why didn't he use that to resurrect her body in the first place? More importantly, why am I questioning a plot hole in a movie called Frankenhooker? Oh god, is this what it means to become Rotten Tomatoes?
I don't want to set the world on fire.
No more time to nitpick though, as Zorro arrives and straight up decapitates a motherfucker. Following Jeffrey's sudden demise, Zorro declares premature victory because, as it turns out, Elizabeth was not the only monstrosity that Jeffrey reanimated earlier in the movie. Turns out he also created these lovely beauties. See that one right there? That one's name is Titty Twister. She's my favorite. Looks like it's boner o'clock, am I right? What? Don't look at me like you wouldn't hit it. I know you would. I mean, look at it. It's got all these tits and they're like twisted around. It's like fucking tits around a dick or something. It's fucking hot. And I guarantee you want to tap that shit and you want to tap it twice. So the rejected Basket Case 2 designs drag Zorro away, presumably to rape him for all eternity, but don't let that get you down, my fellow gorehounds. As it turns out, Frankenhooker, like all good hookers, comes complete with a happy ending.
I love you, Jeffrey, and we're together again, all of us. Together again!
Psst, hey guys, look. It's just desserts. Anyway, joking aside, Frankenhooker is like an EC comic version of Weird Science, and it's just as awesome as that sounds. It's not the smartest movie, it's got holes up the wazoo, but it's really not trying to be. It's a true B movie, the kind that would have been shown in drive-in theaters in the 1960s. Hell, for a period of time, it was one of the most popular movies on Joe Bob Briggs's drive-in theater, and that's about the highest endorsement a movie like this could ever receive. And it's got the awesome distinction of being a movie that pissed the MPAA off so much, they told Frank it should have been rated S for shit. And if that doesn't sell you on it, then I don't know what will. Anyway, my fellow gorehounds, I highly recommend Frankenhooker because, unlike most hookers, it doesn't suck.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Deep in the crib, from a blood red chalice, you must take a sip. Sit right back for a flick, see gore and entrails and slimy ink. Welcome, you gorehounds, the beating, dripping ooze. Welcome to the lair of the horror guru. Watch real close, our heroes strive through dancing demons and cookies alive. Survive the attack of the evil dead, the angry grizzlies and the pumpkin heads. You gorehounds, the beating, dripping ooze. Welcome to the lair of the
This super lecherous episode of Blood Splattered Cinema was brought to you by these amazing Blood Splattered patrons. If you'd like to become a patron yourself, be sure to click on the little button on the right so that you can help Blood Splattered Cinema get bigger and better. Much like Elizabeth Shelley's non-existent fat suit.
And introducing the new Bride of Frankenhooker Blu-ray, complete with the talking box.
Wanna get hitched? Looking for commitment? Got any alimony?
Thank you, my fellow gorehounds, for tuning in to yet another exciting episode of Blood Splattered Cinema. As per usual, like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And with that said, I'll catch y'all on the flip side, my fellow gorehounds. Oh yeah, and Bride of Frankenhooker is a joke. It doesn't actually exist, so please don't ask me about that or ask me to review it. That would be kind of impossible.